And we are back on a. I shouldn't say back on a Tuesday.
It's just a back on Tuesday.
Because when's the last time we were live on a Tuesday?
I don't know, last week.
No, we were live on a Thursday. Was it a Thursday? I don't know. The times are fucking
I don't know.
jumbling back and forth, but we're here on Tuesday.
Oh, hey, welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Legends Clubhouse.
A Taco
I
Tuesday
am.
edition.
I didn't have a taco. Did you?
No, but it's Tuesday, and Taco Tuesdays.
Anyway, I'm Mr. Tuesday himself, Bobby Kaboose, as always, with my co-host Lawson. I like to wear polo shirts on Tuesday and no other day. Lawson, or Turner? What the hell are you doing today? How
Just,
are you?
just Tuesdays. Polos are unacceptable on any other days. Just Tuesdays. No, though, but
Tuesdays.
yeah, bro, what's going on? That was a very uneventful game last night.
Hey man, we talked about getting rid of Thursday night football. Should we just get rid of Monday night football too? Oh
Like,
shit! I'm glad. Like I wasn't really paying attention to the game when I was watching it because I was watching
mhm.
Raw as well. But when Raw ended and it was still 3-0 Eagles, I was like, well, I'm just gonna go to bed.
Dude, it was so funny because when I was watching, and I thought that the Eagles secondary has been gettable all year long. In the first, I think six, the first seven Packer plays were runs, and I was like, oh, so this is just gonna be their game plan, whether it be to limit the Eagles' offense, or if or if the Green Bay can genuinely like protect their weak receiver core, because their receiving core is kind of dropping like flies. And I've never been a like I good example. I remember when they beat the hell out of Dallas in the playoffs, and it's like, oh, they have all these young talented receivers, and I'm like, okay, well, Jalen Reed is a guy, Christian Watson is a physical guy. He's a tall, physical, deep threat. But once again, guy. Matthew Golden might be really good one day, but guy. So it's like you can have all these young up and coming, players. However, for them to be as anointed as, oh, are they like a top 10 receiving core in the NFL? No, they're not.
Right? No, I agree. And was there like a do you know if there was like a lot of wind or anything yesterday where scoring was limited or it just two bad offensive performances?
To my knowledge, no. And especially when watching, I couldn't tell if there was any wind.
All right. Well, yeah. That's why I wouldn't mind two Monday nights and get rid of Thursday just in case. I mean, you have two good teams in the Eagles and Packers, so I mean,
Mhm.
at least it's not, limited to one good team, as we saw on Thursday with the Broncos and the Raiders. But, you know, just a boring Monday. It was supposed to be a manic Monday, turned into a meh Monday.
Do you think, because you guys play the Eagles next Sunday, right? On Sunday night?
Sunday night.
With the Eagles having the inside track to the one seed, like obviously it was a massive game. It was a massive game for both teams. With the Packers coming off one of their two duds of the season. Now they've lost to Cleveland and Carolina, and it's like, okay, well, we need to generate some momentum, or it's about to get really weird in the NFC. And with
Yeah.
them losing last night in the fashion that they did, it's like I think the well, it wasn't even a go ahead touchdown because I mean they led 3-zip the whole game, but I think it was like a 20, might have been like a 36-yard touchdown to Devontae Smith. Let me look it up because I know it was one of the very few moments. Yeah, it was a 36 yard touchdown catch with 10:42 left in the fourth quarter. That is what extended it. It's just really funny to me as to it's now proving us, because you were kind of on the same boat as I was entering the year, where it's like, okay, the Packers good, r-
Six, 7.
like they're a good to very well run team. but to immediately put them in like Super Bowl contention, it's like if not now, then when? And I didn't even believe
Mhm.
it. They were in the now.
Right. Yeah, and we talked about giving a quarterback what you need 2.5 years out of him until you can dub him the next, guy. But Jordan Love, we don't know yet. We don't know. He's like
Mm,
CJ Stroud. We don't know. Um, I'm not gonna anoint him the best quarterback in the North or anything like that
right.
anytime soon. So I think we don't have enough proof to put it in the pudding yet.
Hmm.
So we're not. I'm sure that they're not going to get rid of Jordan Love at anytime soon, or they're not going to look for a replacement anytime soon. But
Hmm.
what do they actually have over there in Green Bay is still up in the air. They obviously have a serviceable quarterback, but is he going to be a franchise like altering quarterback or being able to put them into the next level as far as actually being a legit Super Bowl contender? But they are, like you said, the entire team is super young, so I guess they have that on their side as far as being able to get experience and grow together.
Hmm.
But we will see. I mean, like I said, I'm not ready to anoint him the best quarterback of the North or you know
The
whatever.
it's really interesting too because when you look at it, when they beat the hell out of the Steelers on Sunday night and he completed 20 straight passes, it's like
Mhm.
okay, well, he has an excellent performance like that. And then he has the game against Carolina where he easily should have thrown two or three picks, including an 105-yard pick six, but the DB just dropped it. And then
Yeah,
he has a game like last night where, balls are sailing, balls are, skipping across. There's, for all the instances in which he's been transcendent into entering the upper echelon of the quarterbacks of the NFL, there's equally, if not more, tape of him being a bottom fifth to being a potential like middle of the pack to below average quarterback.
yeah,
And I've said it, and it is the only non-feasible way to build a Super Bowl contending team. You cannot pay a middle of the pack to good quarterback, great quarterback money, and that's what they did. So
right.
now, once again, the totality of the team is young and relatively cheap, outside of Jordan Love, Micah Parsons, and some of their other
Mhm.
playmakers. But with the success that this team, what limited success they have had in the past, like last year making the postseason, and just being a contending team, guys are gonna want to get paid. Like
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs was a beast last year, and he's been arguably their best offensive player this year. And don't you think he's going to want a giant contract?
But guess what? We don't pay running backs. You don't pay running backs.
Bingo.
But this a few years ago when I was a little younger and more in tune with the NFL, you had a group of quarterbacks that were all kind of lumped in the same category. Whether it was Jay Cutler, Tony Romo, Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford was in that. Who
Philip
else was in
Rivers.
there? Philip Rivers. You had minus the Super Bowls, you kind of had Big Ben and Eli.
Hmm.
Um, Flacco. You kind of
Breeze.
had all. Yeah, Breeze was. I think Breeze was more elite, but
I agree, but
towards the end.
you get what I'm saying. Like they're all in the, especially in like the l- middle to late 2010s. Like Breeze was the individual like 5,000 every single year, but that's Mister 7 and 9, 9 and 7, kind of like how you know.
Right. Yeah. You had these quarterbacks that put up similar stats. They were in similar situations. They were serviceable quarterbacks, but were they going to win you a Super Bowl? We're not really sure, right? And that's kind of, I think, where we're at now with this new wave of quarterbacks, because it's like, okay, like almost every team, if you look at it, minus maybe, I'm not sure if Geno Smith is the franchise quarterback of the Raiders. The Saints are still looking for their franchise quarterback, I think. I'm not sure if Shohei Ohtani or whatever his last name is the guy over there. Tyler Shohei or whatever.
Show
Um,
Shuck, whatever his name is. Yeah.
yeah, you're not really. I guess Kyler Murray might be up in question now. So you only have a couple of teams that don't have their quote unquote franchise quarterback.
Hmm.
Which is interesting because I think this is the probably the mo. I don't know how to word this, but like you know one of the only times in history in the NFL where there's not several teams looking for their next guy. I mean, maybe Cleveland, but they may have them in their um unlimited quarterback roster spot in their locker room.
Hmm.
Have still like 17 quarterbacks on the roster. But it's weird to me that in the next few years you may not see a lot of quarterbacks going high in the draft, because it's like, okay, we got our guy for the next 5 to 10 years. um are we gonna pull Cardinals where we go Josh Rosen and then Kyler Murray, or is Cleveland gonna just keep drafting quarterbacks until they find one? Like, they could draft two quarterbacks a year for the next 10 years and still not find their guy, because, let's face it, since 1999, they've had like 5,700 different quarterbacks. So,
Hmm.
you know, it's it's an interesting time in the NFL. I mean, obviously you have Rodgers and Stafford getting older, Flacco getting older, which they're probably in their last couple of years, if not last year in general. But
Hmm.
should be interesting, because like even like guys like Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, like are they gonna be sustainable? Brock Purdy, like are they their actual franchise quarterbacks, or are they going to move into a different direction when they realize, or, not that they're going to realize that these players suck, because they don't, but, if they don't pan out, do
Hmm.
they, how long does it take them to go move into a different direction?
Right. And it's a great point because I think I said this maybe last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I remember when before I was so in tune with the NFL, I asked my dad. I was like, "Hey, do you think there's going to be a time where just nobody needs a quarterback?" Because a couple years ago, I was doing the math. Well, not it's not really a do the math thing, but I was looking at the landscape of the NFL and looked at all the teams, and I'm like, okay, quarterback, quarterback, quarterback. If you're taking a quarterback and you're taking a quarterback, 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 at some point, everyone's going to have either money invested in somebody or have their guy. And it's like, we can go down you know what, for the sake of, it being Taco Tuesday, I'm going to go through all 32 teams and you tell me either quarterback, invested XYZ, all that jazz. You ready?
Yeah.
And this is as of the draft order. So I'm
All
going down
right.
the draft order from number 132. Tennessee Titans.
They got theirs, right? Or they think they have theirs,
Right.
right? They at least have theirs for the next 4 years, you
Yeah.
know.
Cleveland.
I mean, they could use one, but they also have fucking 27 on roster. So
And they also don't know what they
again,
have in Shadur. So if
right.
when they start Shadur, if he pops, then there's your guy.
But they also don't
Giants.
know what they don't have Flacco anymore. God damn it. I was gonna say they don't know what they have in Flacco. Fuck.
Yeah.
The Giants, they got Dart, man. Dart's proving that he's gonna be their franchise guy.
Um. How the hell does no one have the fourth pick? What trade? Oh, that's the
They
is the
own someone's the Falcons pick, I think. Someone owns the Falcons pick, and it's like a good team that's gonna be drafting high.
yeah. Whoever's got the fourth pick, New England's got it. So, but for this, but that's another conversation. As to who's got who's picked this year. New
Right.
England, no, they don't need a quarterback.
No.
he Drake May's been arguably he's been one of the best quarterbacks, and he's
Yeah,
the front runner for MVP right now.
yeah, he's getting MVP chance. You're not gonna, unless
Jack
you don't want the MVP on your team, then you're gonna,
Jacksonville.
which I wouldn't think so. Trevor Lawrence is the most fit in that group that I said earlier. That Matt Ryan type quarterback. You're like, okay, dude, what the fuck do we have? Like he was super talented out of college. I don't think ever lost a game until he got into the NFL. And then you're like, okay, well, when's he gonna get into that top 10, top 5 quarterback conversation? So, maybe
And I
would you
like
say
Trevor
maybe?
Lawrence. I
Me
like
too.
Trevor.
Would you say maybe? Would you go that far? Because I mean, how many years has he been in the league with little to no success? I mean, I know he's dealt with a different coaching staff almost every year, including the Urban Meyer debacle. But
That shit was so toxic and bad.
if I was Trevor Lawrence, I would have stayed in Cleveland on a dinner date too.
I think I'm a believer in Trevor. I'm pro. I mean, into they already paid him.
Right.
So there's not only, and I think he's a big reason why Liam Cohen went there to be their head coach. It's like, okay, well, I have a semi-established quarterback, because remember he was on the rise. His what was it, third? Because I think after his rookie year, where he was bad, but rookie year, I think it was what, his second year when they won the division and lost to the Chiefs in the second round.
I'll take your word on it.
I think it was second, and then his third
'Cause
year,
I think his first year was with Urban Meyer.
yeah, and then I think his third year was when I think they were entering a Monday night game against Miami or something like that, and if they would have won, they would have been on pace for the 1 seed, and then he got hurt, and just lingering
Mm.
injuries, turnover problems, XYZ, all that. But once again, I'm so pro Trevor Lawrence. Here's an
Yeah.
interesting one: Vegas.
Absolutely, I think they need one. Gino, so I think Gino had a couple good years in his career. He's just not consistent enough, man. He started off
Yeah.
with the Jets. I think New York is a very tough market to be a quarterback in, and especially with the Jets organization. But
Hmm.
kind of a journeyman. To me, I'd rather have him as a backup than a starter. So I would say yes on the Raiders. What about you?
I I agree. It's also just funny too, because they traded for him and then they paid him. It's funny because my dad's a Raiders fan, and every time he plays like shit, he's like, Geno
Mhm.
Smith is just 82 gloves with one less glove.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, kind of right. Uh,
Right.
Speaking of interesting ones, Jets.
So you know how I feel about Fields, man. I think he's got a huge upside, but it's looking like they're with 44 draft picks in the next 2 years in the first 2 rounds. They're probably gonna find a quarterback somewhere in
Hmm.
there. What I do, I told you what I would do with all those picks. I would pick 2 offensive linemen and 4 defensive linemen or
And just
whatever,
build around
or at
Fields.
up. Yeah.
I'm right
So
there with you.
you know, I think they're gonna do. I think they'll probably look for a quarterback versus keep Justin Fields.
Hmm. But they've
You
got him on
know,
a 2-year deal, so maybe this draft they surround him, and then the following year they go get a quarterback, or try and get a quarter, depending upon who they uh who they value. But it's still funny because he's only 26,
no,
so it's like he's still crazy young to still grow. But you know,
yeah.
once again, I'm pro Justin Fields. I wish he would have been. It's funny because week one against us when he was looking like a beast. I was like, I remember when you used to do that for me. Um,
You know, and I'm surprised. With his. I mean, all 3 teams, right? All 3 teams, the Bears, the Steelers, and the Jets. All of them have like outdoor stadiums. All of them deal with shitty ass weather at times, and like for me, like if I'm in Chicago or if I'm in Pittsburgh or whatever, I want a guy like Justin Fields because he can improvise with his feet when the fucking weather is terrible. Like
And he's got
you're
a
you're
crazy cannon.
right, and your offense, yeah, his accuracy is a little off, but like your offense doesn't completely shut down in a bad weather game with Justin Fields. So
I
you
remember
know, you,
it
you could
was
argue
what
that you're shut down right from the beginning from him, on certain days. But again, I think that a lot of it has to do with like coaching and shit like
hmm
that, play call and all that.
it was
But
what
the dude, fuck.
2 3 years ago when they played the Niners in the first game of the year in the monsoon, and Justin
Hmm.
Fields was running rampant. And like, there's been plenty of if if you were to just put together a highlight tape and say,
Yeah,
here are Justin Fields' top 10 best plays, and show it to somebody who doesn't watch the NFL, you're like, that's the best quarterback in the league. Like, I remember there was like a
right.
52-yard touchdown run against the Eagles where it was like 4th and 1, and he like shrugged off 3 defenders and he just took it down the sideline, made a safety miss and, still ran it in. And it's just like, damn.
Dude, a couple years ago, he single-handedly almost beat the Lions by himself. Like
hmm
it was unbelievable. But yeah, so Jets. I'm thinking with one of these, you know, fucking thousand picks that they have, and then I think they own every pick in the first and second round, the next two drafts. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Fact check me on that, but they'll probably find a quarterback or
hmm
six of them. But
or six of them.
yeah,
Now we got Carolina. This is now once it's funny because I've said interesting the past two ones. This is really like a flip of the coin. Like, what do you do with Bryce Young?
I think you keep him for right now. He's improved like every year in the league. I think his rookie season, I think he may have been a little overwhelmed. Just like the game was a little too fast for him. Now I think he's adjusting. I mean, they're at 500, 5-5. I
Yeah,
mean, I wouldn't have guessed that they were going to be 5-5 after 10. They were in the mix until they lost. This past week. I mean, see where they go. I mean, Carolina was, they made an absolute terrible trade with the Bears, trading DJ Moore and whatever, but um we'll see. I mean,
I'm right
it's
there with you.
it's the
Like,
Panthers.
the Carolina is in a funky spot because coming out, I really liked Bryce Young, and it looks like you brought up great points where the game was too big and a little too fast for him. But once again, with the continuous reps, and I like the McMillan pick due to if you have a quarterback that is not really small per se, but and if you believe accuracy is an issue or not, the thing that young quarterbacks need, they need big body and giant targets to
Mhm.
throw at, and people with giant catch radiuses. That's why, and not saying that McMillan's going to be the next person that I'm about to bring up, but that's one of the things why a player like Gronk was so damn dominant because he was so big and his catch radius was insane.
Right.
Brady could not throw an inaccurate ball to Gronk, or could not throw him a pass where Gronk couldn't get to.
I mean, yeah, this dude is 6'5", and you're up there with Calvin Johnson status, like it's like, okay, dude, like go up and make a play. Red zone target for sure.
hmm
Um, you get a couple more pieces over there, and they could be something. He's Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, kind of interchangeable. One plays Call of Duty, one's an inch shorter. I don't know. Let's go, or an
One
inch
plays
taller.
the Saints.
Yes, I would say yes. I mean, I don't know anything about this Tyler Shohei Otani guy. And then I know they don't they did they have anyone else? Did they? He
Uh,
wasn't the start of the year, right?
it's
Derek
Spencer
Carr
Rattler.
retired.
It's
Oh
Spencer
yeah, Spencer
Rattler
Rattler.
show, and then the Mr. Swiss Army knife on offense, Taysom Hill.
Yeah, so I would say they would probably draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
You know, if they can get Arch Manning or whoever. Um,
that'd be pretty
we'll
sweet.
Yeah, well, I said that at the beginning of the year, but Arch Manning began the year like
Ass.
acting acting like his dad who didn't play in the NFL instead of his uncles that did.
Chicago.
No. I mean they just drafted Caleb. You're investing in him. He's the number one pick. He has flashes, but I'm not a Caleb guy. I think he, you know, we talked about this the other day. If he stays in Chicago, I think he's going to be a bust.
Hmm.
It's just Chicago, but I cannot believe the Bears are 6-3 right now.
Yeah, it's been like the roster has talent, but what I wanted to see is how quickly could Ben Johnson form this offense and team as his own. And I've
Hmm.
been now. Granted, they've gotten a couple of the. We were just talking about this yesterday as to why no team. Well, it's going to be really hard for any team to go undefeated. They've had a couple games where they've kind of got lucky on a couple, like the Cincinnati game, this past game against New York, where they were trailing by 10 the whole game. But I've I've been really impressed this year. They've only been blown out in two of their three losses, and it was uh on the road against Baltimore, and then when you guys put 60 on them, damn near.
Yeah, but so I don't watch enough Bears games to know this. So you may know this question, I'm not sure. But like when Ben Johnson was at on the Lions, it seemed like they did trick plays to kind of to throw the defense off obviously, right? And it was timely. I Do they run trick plays just to run trick plays over in Chicago right now?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I've seen a couple of them. And I'm like, okay, like, are you just running? Are you just trying to like Ben Johnson, Ben Johnson? You know what I mean? Like, are you
Hmm.
like going to be like, oh, I was the evil genius behind this, and we're just going to continue to run
I'm the
fucking chick
smartest guy
play
in
after
the room. Yeah.
right?
No, there hasn't been too many. I know in the Bengals game, he is in Caleb Williams. He caught two passes, and it's like you'll normally not normally if or any you'd see a quarterback catch one ball. Very rarely do you see him catch two.
Yeah,
Yeah. The Niners.
dude. So the Niners, I'm not a Brock Purdy guy. I think they have their guy because I think they just may have paid him. I'm
Yeah,
not
they paid him too.
sure.
So yeah.
But like, I just dude, I'm so sick of hearing the Mr. Irrelevant pick and blah 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 blah. San Francisco, I feel like San Francisco always wins with their quarterbacks. As far as like going even back to like Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick and whoever, it's like I know they've had different coaches over the years, so it's not like Tomlin's system or Belichick's system, but it seems like San Francisco has a system out there that they're able to flourish with any quarterback behind, under center, and with Christian McCaffrey, one of the best players in the NFL, and they usually have a plethora of weapons on the outside. I just think San Francisco's ran right. I think
Hmm.
they're one of those teams that you could plug in 29 other quarterbacks and they'd probably still be San Francisco.
110%. My thing with the Niners, once they give Brock Purdy the contract that they gave him, I was done with the Mr. Relevant stuff. I was done
Yeah,
because you take the league by storm, and it's an awesome story to go from Mr. Irrelevant to Super Bowl starting quarterback. However, bro had an all-star team around him because he was making $900,000 a year. So, like,
yeah,
when you remove a Dre Greenlaw, a Hafunga, when you don't have Debo Samuel in his prime, and Brandon Ayuk has missed the whole year. Ricky Pearsall missed a big chunk of the year, and when you are in a Kyle Shanahan offense, your job is to just be efficient. And
yeah,
for as good as Brock Purdy has been over since entering the league, have been some stretches where he's had that gunslinger esque mentality where I'm going to see if I can zip it in there, and then you see what Mac Jones is doing. Well, they just got popped, this past weekend by the Rams. But before that, it's Mac Jones is playing arguably the best ball of his career.
right,
Hmm.
right, absolutely. Yeah, and I think I saw a stat that he's like 5-2 as a starter or something, and Going into Sunday, I mean, like I said, I think, and that kind of proves it, right? I guess that kind of proves my point that like, it's not the quarterback, it's the system out there. So,
Hmm.
you Mac Jones, unless he just, really, really didn't have the talent in New England, but you know, I think anyone who was gonna be the successor of Tom Brady wasn't gonna succeed in um, New England. So, maybe better fit for Mac out there. It's probably the farthest as far as distance wise from New England to
Hmm.
another team, except for maybe Vegas. I'm not sure about the
Distance, yeah.
geographical distance, but he got away. He got away, and he's doing well. So yeah, San Francisco, I think, is good.
Dallas.
They're not Dallas. Do you want to get away from Dak? Probably not. Like, I
I
mean,
wouldn't.
Dallas fans do. Dallas fans probably do. But I mean, he puts up numbers. Again, he's one of those quarterbacks like, that would have fit right in that tier of Tony Romo, Matt Ryan, serviceable quarterback, puts up numbers, needs a team around him. Yeah, he might not be able to carry you all the way to the Super Bowl, but he's capable of winning one if you get there,
Hmm.
So
My thing
keep him.
too, yeah, my thing too with Dallas is like he does what Jerry wants as in terms of he keeps the Cowboys relevant, and when he
Hmm.
plays, they are a excellent offense. And I mean,
Yeah,
just from a statistical standpoint, they average almost 30 a game. They're third in passing yards per game, seventh in touchdowns, fifth in yards per play, fourth in scoring with 29.2 points per game. But I'm done that. Miami.
so So real quick before we go on to Miami,
Mhm.
Jerry Jones is the Bobby Caboose of the NFL because I will tell you this because when I play Madden, I super sim the defense and I don't give a fuck what's on defense. I only worry about my offense and I only play offense. So Jerry Jones does the same exact thing. He don't give a shit about their defense as long as their offense is high power and they score points. He don't give a fuck if they lose 49-48. At least they put up those points, and at least they're fun to watch.
As a smart man once said, you can either get mad or respect it, and I
Yeah,
respect it.
fucking Jerry Jones is super simming the defense every Sunday.
Miami.
Miami, I would change. I would go on. I would get away from Tua. Um, he had a couple good seasons. But with the injuries, with the concussions, like it's like, okay, dude, you get hit one more time, you might be fucking dead. So, knock on wood. I didn't, but I'm not trying to be dramatic, but dude, the last time he got hit and he fucking like, praying mantis on the field,
I
a
was
little
about to.
scary.
I was about to say
It's a
doing
little
the
scary.
thriller.
Right, yeah, doing the thriller is probably a better analogy. But I think you need to, I would if I was the organization, especially how bad they are, and especially how Mike McDaniel or whatever the hell his name is probably going to get fired by at some point, whether it's after the season or during the season. I think you just blow everything up. Just start fresh. New regime's probably going to want their own quarterback. Tua, do I see him having a starting job? Maybe he could be like a Daniel Jones or bridge quarterback. Steelers maybe, but Tua don't play good in bad weather either. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, like what do So I'm thinking he might be a backup after his contract is up. I don't know. I think they extended him recently, but like
Hmm. I'm right there with
again,
you.
is it?
For Miami, I would just clean house.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I
their
mean, to
all.
say franchise quarterback, they do. Like, I mean, if that's the question, they do have their franchise because they extended them. They're rolling with them,
There's
but
money tied into them.
yeah. So I mean, it's the question of okay, do you have your franchise quarterback versus do
Do
you
you
have money
just?
invested in?
Uh huh.
What are you going to do? You can't you can draft a quarterback and have him sit and you can have a Kirk Cousins situation,
Hmm.
but a lot of money tied up into a backup quarterback.
It is a lot of money tied into a backup quarterback. Indianapolis.
Um dude, I think they got their guy. I
I
mean,
was gonna say because then it leads into is this smoke or is it fire?
I don't know, dude. How is? I mean, we're gonna get to Seattle probably here in a minute. Um, but Sam Darnold 2.0, I like when Seattle signed Sam Darnold, I was like, that he had one good year. I know he like Sam Darnold probably minus not he didn't play for Cleveland at all, right?
No, it was Carolina.
Yeah, well, yeah, I knew it was Carolina. I knew it was the Jets, but like, I mean, if you would have added the Browns in there, he would have hit the fucking shitty organization trifecta, right? So like, it's like, okay, do you need the right fit? And then he goes to Minnesota, goes 15-2. He has a fucking career year. Again, is it the system or is it him or is it just a flash in the pan? Like, so when Seattle signed Sam Darnold, I was like, that's a lot of money for a quarterback that did something one year. I mean, yeah, he proved last year that he was worth some team giving him a shot, but that much money invested into Sam Darnold, who's only proved it one year. Again, he probably played for the two of the three worst organizations in football, but
Hmm.
a lot of money tied up into a guy that proved it one year. So, who were we on? Because I know we weren't on Sam Darnold. We were on
The
Daniel
Colts.
Jones. Yeah, so is it a situation like that? Jonathan Taylor having the best year of his career. The defense doing well. I mean, it could just be a perfect fit. Like this could be the Ravens of 2012. Flacco's Ravens that won the or whenever they won the Super Bowl. That could be this year's version of the Colts, or this moving forward. If you have a good run game, good defense, quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, he doesn't have the pressure of being in New York. He's in probably the quietest city in the football, and just fucking in the middle of the Midwest. So,
Hmm.
Vanilla Vic, dude.
Vanilla Vic. The only thing with Dan Jones' turnovers is because he had five against Pittsburgh and and he was sacked seven times against the Falcons and had I think it was two fumbles. But the thing is if you can and Shane Steichen's done an awesome job of can you have him play in control,
Hmm.
and for the most of the season he's had them playing in control, and it's been awesome to see a resurgence from Vanilla Vic. Now,
Did
uh,
he sign a one deal?
yeah, it's like 1 year,
Okay.
13, 14 million.
So is he a Colt next year?
Yeah, 100%. They will not. They will not. I don't think they'll let him walk out of the door.
Because I thought that was Sam Darnold in Minnesota, but they were still like, we're gonna go with JJ.
They're a couple years away from the Anthony Richardson trade. I mean, draft. If they were 1 year removed, like Minnesota was, if the distance was the same and the sample size was the same, like of course with JJ he hadn't played yet, so it's like, well, we don't know what we have. And now, if you would rewind the clock 6 months ago, 8 months ago, there's no doubt that they say, Sam, you're not walking out of this door.
Well, so with Anthony Richardson, I mean, he's only played like a year and a half, right? I mean, is the sample size big enough?
Well, for the
I mean, I didn't
tape,
like the guy coming out of college, so like, I'm not trying to be like, oh,
yeah,
this
yeah.
dude is,
For
but is,
for me,
you know,
the tape, the proof is in the pudding to where he's missed enough layup throws. Now he makes one of two people in the entire world's throws, but it's the same time for a Shane Steichen offense. It's kind of it's not like a Kyle Shanahan offense where there's a lot of motion and misdirection, but you have to be accurate. And Daniel
mhm.
Jones is at his core, he's accurate.
Okay, yeah, now I know who's got the Falcons first round pick, so I'll get to it when we say the team.
Speaking of the Falcons and Vic, they're at 15, so they're next.
So actually, they won't be getting their first round pick because I think it belongs to the Rams. Um,
Mm,
s- um, because I think I heard that the other day. But anyway, the Falcons have Michael Penix, right? So I mean, he's their guy. So we'll go. I mean, he was in that draft too, right? Was you in that fucking Jaden Daniels draft?
hmm.
Jesus Christ, man. Goddamn quarterbacks. We didn't even mention him the other day. But I mean, they have a guy invested in, for at least the next 4 years. We'll see. He's had flashes, but I'm assuming that they have the franchise guy. I'm assuming they're happy with him. They're not going back to Kirk Cousins anytime soon.
Arizona.
Bryce Young 2.0, like Kyler Murray, is he done in Arizona? Um, where else would he go? I mean, they're a question mark, I guess. If you want to move on from the experiment, you have one of the most talented young receivers in the league with Marvin Harrison. I mean, he was probably the best wide receiver prospect since Calvin Johnson coming out of college.
Hmm.
So do you stick with him? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, we've had what, like 3 to 4 borderline teams so far.
Him getting hurt and the offense looking better, besides last week, for
Mhm.
Jacoby Brissett is really opening my eyes to. It's like I'm a Kyler fan, but the thing is, it's like Jacoby comes in and the offense genuinely just looks better.
You're right, and Jacoby's not the answer. We're not.
No,
I'm assuming you're not saying Jacoby's the answer, but yeah, more of a pocket presence. Spread the ball around,
just
taller,
just a
and
veteran guy that knows how to play in the NFL.
yeah. So yeah, I mean they're a question mark. You
Hmm.
go either way. Are you gonna build around Kyler, or are you gonna let him go play baseball?
Cincinnati.
No, I mean Joe
Y-
Burrow top three quarterback when he's healthy.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
no.
Or arguably top four, top five.
Yeah,
He's in there.
top
So
five, no doubt. Yeah, Seattle.
again, man, Sam Darnold. I don't know how well he's doing this year, but Sam
They
Darnold. Let's just see, is he doing great?
Yeah, for sake of like their offense, they're third in scoring, sixth in passing yards, third in touchdown, second in yards per play. For Sam Darnold up to this point in I was about to say in the career, uh 17 TDs, 6 picks, seventh in passing yards, seventh in passing TDs, seventh in rating, fifth in pass yard average.
Yeah, I mean he's top 10 in every category. I mean you got to keep him like he's your guy.
Se-
Then like would he
Seventy-one%
be my
completion
guy?
percentage.
I'm not sure. I don't know if he'd be my guy, but in Madden, I want someone more exciting than Sam Darnold. So if I started a franchise with Seattle, I would trade him and then
And go from
get
there.
a high draft. Yes, but that's just me. So you got to keep him if he's top 10 category. If you're in the top third of quarterbacks in the NFL, like
Yeah.
why the fuck would you get?
And
So yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
lastly, he's completing 71% of his throws. So,
Yeah.
Tampa.
Dude, Baker's my guy, dude. Like, I think the only quarterback that I would rather have outside of Goff for Detroit would be Baker Mayfield. Well,
This dude right here,
uh,
he's a baller.
you're not getting Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, so Baker would be my guy.
The one of my regrets is when he left Carolina and was a free agent, and there were rumors that the Steelers were interested, and I was like, nope, I do not want that. And now, if I were to rewind time, I want that because he just, for as much of I thought he was just a prick in college, and once again, from the police video to grabbing his crotch on the sideline and doing all that shit, um, he's he's just a baller, and he embodies like the Tampa vibe, and he just looks like a Buccaneer quarterback.
He oozes machismo.
He oozes machismo, yeah.
Yes.
Denver.
They got Bo Nix, man. He's gonna be their franchise guy. Like I said, I think he's gonna be the best quarterback that comes out of that class,
Hmm.
or at least successful in his system. So um, they got him.
We don't really have to spend too much time on this one. Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah, they're looking for the next guy,
Yeah,
right?
and just the bridge to keep the team relevant for these next for this year and maybe next year, but once again, they're still in the market for their future guy. The
And
Chargers.
if he keeps looking old as fuck on Sundays, then
That
you're
might
not
be
going to
this
be a
year.
happy camper.
No, I'm not. If we lose to Cincinnati this week, I'm gonna cry. The Chargers.
Justin Herbert might be one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Like it just their talent. They're not
And
looking for anyone. Justin Herbert should win at least one Super Bowl in his career.
yeah. It's even more funny you said that because uh Jim Harbaugh, I think he said this last year. He said, someone asked him if like football or whatever keeps him up at night. He said, what keeps me up at night is wanting to get Justin Herbert a Super Bowl."
Yeah.
So like, yeah, Green Bay.
They have their guy. I mean, Jordan Love. Like I said, we're both not completely sold on him, but he will be the quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years.
Minnesota.
Not sold on JJ. But again, they think they have their guy, so they're gonna have their guy for at least another 4 years.
Houston.
CJ Stroud. Great rookie year. Again, same thing as Jordan Love. I think people fell in love with him after this rookie year and expected success every single season, which is not going to be the case. But the we still got to figure this out if he's the guy
hmm
because after such a good rookie year, he's fallen off quite a bit.
The Rams.
They're going to need their future guy. Stafford's probably got like 2 to 3 years left in him. Probably,
Yeah, it's my guess.
Brady joked that he had 8 more years because Brady played till 45. But Stafford just got to a 500 record in his career, and I don't want to hear that Detroit wasted 12 years because he could have left at any time.
Sometimes it's all about this. Baltimore.
No, Lamar, no.
Detroit.
Goff, it's weird, man, because like when we first got Goff, people were like, "All right, bridge quarterback, bridge quarterback." Me, I was like, dude, like he was number one pick for a reason. Like maybe it's a thing like Sam Darnold, Vanilla Vic, just needed to change the scenery out of LA. Him and McVay had whatever going on. So it is weird for me to be like, yeah, we have our franchise quarterback for the next like 8 years, and it's weird that it's Goff, but that's
I
the
like Jared
reality. I don't
Goff.
think.
I uh, I always thought he was like disrespected in terms of like whenever people would blame the Super Bowl loss on Goff. Like Goff's a baller. Like
Yeah.
and maybe I'm still stuck on the flashes and the Monday night game where he outdueled Mahomes at the Coliseum and stuff like that. But Goff's peak is
Dude, when I tell
ridiculous.
you when that trade happened, people like didn't want anything to do with Goff, and I don't want to be like, man, I was, but I was like, dude, he's a number one pick for a reason. Like there's he's I was basically like I was like he's not Jamarcus Russell, like he's got
Right.
talent, like you know. It just give him a fucking chance, and like people want nothing to do with him here. They're like, oh well, we got to find our next quarterback.
And
Like as soon as we got, like, dude, like he
I
hasn't
bet
even taken a
those
snap. Uh,
same people now are doing backflips that Jared Goff's a baller.
Oh, now every fucking where you go in Detroit, they fucking chant Jared Goff. I was like, fuck out of here, right? Don't act like
Wa-
you fucking you're down since day one ish.
Washington.
Jaden, Jaden's their guy. We'll see. I mean, great rookie year. He's had a little bit of injury this year, but we'll see.
The last three will kind of be short and sweet. Buffalo,
No,
Kansas City,
no,
Philly.
yes. Just kidding. No, gotcha. But yeah, I mean, so how many teams were either needing or questionable? Probably 2 to 5.
For real, dude. Like
So,
the quarterback
and that
landscape
gap's
being
probably even less than that gap's probably been less than that because it's just like, okay, either you or I just don't like the individual player that's in there. Like Sam Darnold, I'm like, well, do you have him? But they paid him, so it's like,
it's
yeah,
funny
almost
because
invested money except for,
Hmm.
these 5 quarterbacks that came out last year, minus Penix, because I was gonna say 6, but Atlanta's already got money invested in Kirk Cousins. So it's like every team except for those 4, for the most part, have minus Seattle maybe in Indy, who
Hmm.
may have given guys 1 year deals or whatever, but they're still going to re-sign them. So
It's funny
you know,
because my buddy who's house sitting, he's a giant Seahawks fan. Steve Largent signed helmet over there. It's funny because when they got Sam Darnold, he's like, I fucking can't stand Sam Darnold. I hate him. And then whenever he has like in week 1 when he was the reason that because Sam was the reason why they lost, the games that they did, like the pick against the Bucks, him not feeling pressure to step up, and well, in my friend's words, him not feeling the pressure to step up against, it's Nick Bosa coming at your blind side, and he pushed your tackle all the way back to where when Sam pulled the ball back to throw it. Lineman just bumped into him, so it's not Sam's fault. But he is in the mindset of Sam will crumble in these biggest moments, and I'm like, well, when he was here before he left to go on his work vacation and stuff like that, it's like you were just praising that Seattle was number 1 in the NFL power ranking standings. So I don't
right?
know. I like Sam. I think Sam at this point in his career, he's like, you need to get about a year and a half to 2 year stretch to where it's just you're a good quarterback now. So, like example,
Yeah,
if Daniel Jones by this point next year, and they're not saying they got to be 7-2 or 8-1 or whatever, but if he just has a solid rest of the year and they lose in the playoffs, then a solid start to next year, it's like, oh, he's just a good quarterback now.
right. And both quarterbacks are essentially entering their prime of their career, or what should be their prime of their career as far as age,
Hmm.
their status, as far as how many years that they've been in the league and things like that. So, who knows if they take off or they're just serviceable. I mean, there's when you look at the quarterbacks, like you think you want to think that more than not, these some of these quarterbacks are elite. But when you talk about elite quarterbacks, you're really only talking about 3 or 4. You're only talking about Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow for the most part. Those I would really think those are the 4 elite quarterbacks, and the rest are kind of just they're kind of interchangeable, man. It's like
Hmm.
you know and fantasy football actually kind of I know fantasy football is kind of a weird thing to look at, but when your guys are getting all this kind of similar points, right, and then you have a couple of them that earn you a little bit more, you can kind of judge their at least their statistical stuff based on fantasy football, and most of them are in the same realm. So
Hmm.
whether you're a game changer or a game manager, or just don't turn the ball over, or you do turn the ball. I mean, all of those factor in. That's where the fantasy stats don't kind of prove. It's not the proof in the pudding, but um, so it's you only have a selective few in the top tier, and then the rest kind of all get in
Jumbled
the
up.
same mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all in the same mixing bowl, and you're just making a cake at this point. So,
That's a good point.
you know.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see obviously how the rest of the season, pans out, and how these teams that have a gazillion draft picks and may or may not need quarterbacks use those gazillion draft picks.
hmm I mean,
Yeah.
the Jets essentially could have an entire new offensive line defense. They could have an entire new defense after next 2 years with all the draft picks. Like, who knows what they're going to do with all of them. But
Hmm.
like I said, I would maybe draft a quarterback later on, or unless
Yeah.
you really have that. But I would have them sit behind Justin Fields and try to get, try to. I think Justin Fields can win in this league. I just think he in the right situation he can, and that's how I would build that team. But
Hmm.
who knows what Glenn and the gang are going to do?
Now, speaking of the Jets, and because we don't have a show on tomorrow because I'll be traveling, which is why we're doing it today. Thursday night, the Jets at New England. Is that just going to be just a complete steamrolling by New England?
I don't know if it's going to be a steamroll because it's division opponent, but yeah, it's going to
It's
be another shitty Thursday night game, man. Even if the Jets were to win, even if the Jets were to win, dude, the game is going to be like 13-10.
if that's the only thing or way that I could see the Jets potentially winning is if it's just ugly.
Yeah,
And I mean, New England's run. They're off a 7-game win streak.
yeah.
So, I just realized that it's a 7-game win streak. I can't believe that it's been 7 weeks since the Steelers played in New England. That's insane.
Dude,
Time fucking flies,
see,
dude.
it does, man. Time fucking flies, especially when it gets dark at fucking 5:20 in the afternoon. Fuck, dude. By like 7:30, I'm like, why does it seem so late? Like I feel like it's like 11 o'clock and it's like 7:30. I'm like, cool. Like I'm, putting my pajamas and my little sleep hat on, even though I don't, with the
Yeah.
thing with the little in. Yeah.
You said you were watching Raw last night. I'm sure you were super excited about, Cena becoming a Grand Slam.
I actually that was the one match that I didn't see.
That's
I
funny.
I forgot to eat dinner and I was like starving, so I ran out and got something during that match. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's gonna drop the title in his last match, and it's looking like I think it's gonna be Gunther. That's the rumors that it's gonna be Gunther, which makes sense. But like, I kind of wish Gunther already had like a historic Intercontinental reign. He had a nice. I mean, he's been a champion like it's something like crazy, like 80% of the time that he's been on the main roster.
Hmm.
Which is great. He's a great heel. I like watching him fight, but at the same time, I'm like, does he really need to put Cena down?
The
Uh,
That's like the biggest thing for me, and how they end this or wrap it up is going to be interesting based off of whoever is the one to do it. They have to now be in the WWE for the foreseeable future.
yeah,
Because like
that
you
because
can't
you
just
build on
have
it. It's a story,
right.
right? It's an accolade. So, yeah, I would like to have them do it with someone very unexpected and like someone that actually needs that push. I don't think Gunther needs that push.
No, because he's already a
As
top guy.
Yeah. So, anyway, we'll see. I hope it's like Mr. Iguana. Um, but
Who's even still left in the tournament?
what's that?
Because aren't they doing a tournament to
Yeah.
determine who's even still left?
They just started it. Rusev beat Damian Priest yesterday. Um, LA Knights versus like a surprise opponent. I think Shinsuke had a match. Who did Shinsuke fight? Shinsuke, I think, lost. Versus whoever he fucking fought in the tournament. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think I don't know because they have a couple mystery opponents that are this week on SmackDown, I believe, and next week on Monday Night Raw. Which one of them will probably be like Joe Hendry or someone from either Impact or TNA, or AAA,
NXT.
NXT. Yeah, they have the Miz fighting someone. I don't know. They
Yeah, they
I
got a
wish they
bunch
would
of.
because they're like pulling balls out of it. So it's like the first round you're not going to see any kind of bracket. But anyway,
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. But thank you for joining us here on this amazing Tuesday, November 11th. It's 11/11, dude. So my grandfather was born on 11/11/1911. Crazy.
Damn, that's crazy.
Anyway, he's not alive anymore. He would be like 120 years old. So 114.
It's crazy.
114. dude, he'd be looking like the fucking crypt keeper, dude. But anyway, shout out to him. But um, thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday. I'm glad when I did that, it looked like I had like the Holy Ghost behind me with the fucking
I
shit in
just said, shout out to him.
there. So, I mean, I don't remember him. Like, I mean, he
Yeah.
died when I was like 3 or 4, so you know. But anyway, thank you for joining us here on the Legends Clubhouse. We are usually live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We will be back Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So join us live over on New Leaf News' YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Go check us out on our social medias, whether it's Blue Sky, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or X. We're at New Leaf News over there. So shout out, give us a follow, um, interact with us, do all that shit. Go over to newleafnews.com/network. Both of them take you to the same great site. We have great daily content, whether it's sports, entertainment, gaming, horoscopes, murder stuff. You name it, we got it. We have very great writers and interesting stories all the time. So go hit that subscribe button over at newleafnews.network or .com. Like I said, both of them take you to the same great site. I am at Bobby Caboose on both of those on X and Instagram, both of those social medias. Go follow me. That's at Lawson_1226 at the same platform as we all know by now. A month and 15 days away, dude, from your birthday, and it's gonna be a sad one unless they clear your Amazon wish list. So go get him a gift. Um, Other than that, man, thank you for joining us on a Tuesday. And if you want to take us out, Lawson, be my guest.
As always, once again, thank you so much for joining us for episode 80. Oh, yeah, 88. Best 88, go.
Best 88. Best 88. Wasn't Prince Fielder 88 at one point? Or was he 84?
I have no idea. I think it was 84.
Eric Lindros.
Who?
88. Eric Lindros. We'll go hockey.
Lynn Swan.
He sucked.
You suck. Once again, thank you so much for joining us for episode 88 of the Legends Clubhouse for New Leaf News and the Legends Clubhouse. I'm Lawson Turner. That's Bobby Caboose right there through this camera and into everyone's homes. And we'll see you beautiful people Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, we hope you enjoy your Tuesday and enjoy your week. Peace.